This is Jim O'Hara's, or Uncle Jim, and the way I knew him, his dream. This is what he dedicated almost 30 years of his life to, and it's a P-38 Lightning. I knew of what he was doing. It was much bigger and much more complicated and more beautiful than I knew. My Uncle Jim inspired in me the love of flight. When I learned to fly a Cessna 172 right here in Lebanon, I had dinner with Jim and Mitzi and my grandparents and found out that he was selling an airplane, and he and Mitzi moved to San Angelo to build this plane. I bought the Myers from him, and when I was down there, saw this P-38 and just couldn't believe it. Didn't really understand what he had done at that time, but I told him that I would be interested in it when he finished with it. He was very much a theoretical designer, like his approach to building something was to draw it. He'd run the calculations, and then he took it from there to build the jigging and the pieces. I've got all that here, and he built it first in his garage. He built in pieces the left wing, the right wing, the fuselage, the individual booms, the tail section he built last, and then he took all of those out to the airport in San Angelo at the hangar that he had then rented, and he assembled them. I would have seen it, maybe it was 2009 when I went down there to get the Myers, and he had already flown it then. He was still working on it and continued to work on it until, between age and the Texas heat, he wasn't able to work on it anymore. And what I didn't realize until later, and I kicked myself, so to speak, for not going down there again or volunteering to help or what have you. But what I found out was that he was racing against the clock to get this plane ready for his nephew. So now I'd like the world to see what my Uncle Jimmy did. Somebody spent 25 plus years building it. That's a serious responsibility. So I had worked my way through how it was going to be, but still hadn't done it. And I was only the second person to ever really fly it. I don't know how to describe the feeling I had, but Jim had just passed a little while before, but definitely was, in my experience, there with me. And it was very powerful, the sense of taking someone's dream to where they had wanted it to go. And I just remember saying out loud, I got you, Jim. The combination of being an aeronautical engineer, being a dreamer and a passionate person about aviation and the love of flight and the love of P-38, which started in him when he was a little boy, combined with his expertise, his knowledge, his skill sets, and his craftsmanship, put him in a position where I think he was uniquely able to do something that the good minds at Lockheed said was absolutely impossible. It was not possible for this to ever be a home build. He said to me, he just started on the calculations. He just started on making it happen. And he said if he ever came to a problem that he couldn't figure it out, he would quit. But that never happened. And his dream, he said, that it would take him 25 years to build it, and if he was lucky, he'd get to fly it before he died. And he did. Him and Mitzi both.